Welcome, Collective. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot getting ready to do a reading for you. This has no particular inspiration except the desire to receive a message, to gain some insight on where you are now. So this is beginning, as often, with oracle cards, a couple of oracles to get us centered as to what the deeper issue is going for us moving forward. And from the wild unknown, I have pulled the warrior card, and I'm going to read a little bit about the warrior because obviously the warrior brings up a lot of charged messages at this time when we are, as a nation, engaged in war, and what that can mean in terms of chaos, violence, life lost. So other titles for this particular card are the samurai, the soldier, or the advocate. We often envision the warrior as an armored figure with sword in hand, moving blindly towards battle. Yet the deeper aspects of this archetype bring us face to face with death itself. The warrior stands precariously at the edge of life and death, trusting the eternal to guide the sword's blade, requiring presence, alignment, and purpose. This is meaningless. Confrontations and violence are often the default response. It's important to question the battle at hand. The actions you take will stay with you long after the dust settles. Realign with the eternal wisdom within, then surrender to the battle. A couple of other notes. The author, Kim Krantz of the guidebook, notes is that be careful, as the warrior implies war. The two go hand in hand. Those who defeat others are strong. Those who defeat themselves are mighty. And that is, I believe, a reference to the ego, the conviction that your way is the right way and quite detrimentally the only way. And then finally, without a true purpose, manifesto, or oath, the warrior is lost. What do you stand for? What are you willing to rise in the name of? So this is beautiful as it is coupled with the energy of the smoke cleansing number 6. That is the card of the lovers, and this is about a choice. So I do feel in these particular times the vision of war and oneself as a warrior in whatever way that may apply is very characteristic of what our times are calling, demanding of us. What do we stand for? What are we willing to just allow, to tolerate, so that we become what we are allowing to exist? And war certainly is one of those things that many of us do not believe is the appropriate way, the life-affirming way to make decisions of any sort. And so in a world filled with war and warlike behavior, dominant behavior, punitive behaviors, we are in our own need of clarifying our response to that. In addition to those principles, we are willing to stand and fight for metaphorically. I am not an advocate of physical violence. However, I understand that it exists, and many of us are victims or even have been perpetrators of violence. However, this feels as though it is about the connection between not only the spiritual and the physical realm, but it is about the transformation that occurs within each of us in which we are able to activate in the world. So this idea of purifying yourself is directly related to this idea of clarifying your intention, your belief, what you stand for. In the present, we have the Three of Staffs. This feels very fresh. This feels like many of you are in a place of uh, um, creating a position of action in response to something that feels unjust, unfair, that is not tolerable. And so it appears to me that many of you are moving from a place of familiar structure, creating something that we are familiar with that always works, to creating something for a situation that is yet to be known. So, this is requiring an act of our imagination to project our desires out into the world, into unfamiliar places with unfamiliar communities, as a way of not only bringing a service forward, bringing aid or assistance, but of learning something ourselves, of expanding ourselves into new environments so that we learn about ways to cope or advance a goal that's important to us on global terms. In the past, the Three of Jades, the Six of Jades, the Six of Pentacles is about a long time practice that you have been cultivating of understanding that your agreements with others begins with a clearly stated desire or intention on your part. And many of us are in different places around this, knowing what we want, being able to stand for it, believing we deserve it. There's many levels to this ability to articulate what is in our heart, to stand behind what we desire, to understand that fulfilling our desire is the starting place to negotiation, to compromise, um, to agreements. And this is something that has been not lost on you, something that you have worked towards in a very conscious way, and has meant the unleashing of subconscious energies that you have found damaging in the past, so that you are clearly aware that you have the right to your desires, your needs, and your wants. In the future, the Ace of Cups. This is what a lovely rejoinder to this the furious energy, the fierce energy of the warrior. The Ace of Cups, particularly this lovely, calming ocean blue, is really making me see that you understand that love is the strongest weapon, power, tool, leverage, skill that we have. And that all actions, when they spring from a place of concern, of nurturing, of care, of attention to what is needed, to listen, the ability to listen to what is needed rather than to declare what is right or fair, then we begin to understand the variety of ways in which something that we feel we're impassioned about defending or standing for can be learned about, can be tooled through what we consider more passive skills. The ability to listen is actually quite active. It requires conscious intentions. It requires setting aside one's personal beliefs or biases in order to properly empathize with the story you're being told, to rooting out its authenticity, to allowing yourself to have that truth story resonate within an authentic place within yourself. The humility that is required. We are no greater than our neighbors. We are not superior to anyone despite our tools, our abilities, our environments. So this is really, as is water, a great leveler here that you're bringing to a situation in your own life and perhaps to a community, to a service that you are offering to others. If this is resonating for you, please like this video and share this with others. Subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. It is greatly appreciated. I really am feeling supported by all of you who support me in whatever way that is. So the Six of Jades in the past, I'm going to clarify with 2 cards here. And 2, please. Here's 2. The Temperance and the Six of Pentacles yet again. So the Six of Pentacles, clarifying the Six of Pentacles, the Three of Staffs in the present. I see a bunch have flown out. Instead, I will. The Ace of Swords and the Emperor card. And what's underneath? I will start afresh with the Ace of Cups in the future. 2 cards, please. The Four of Wands and the Page of Cups. 4 of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So, in the past, the Six of Jades, the basis on which you now understand that you actualize or activate your desires in the world by declaring them, by articulating what it is you desire, is a long-term healing practice for you. This is showing me that many of you regularly work within communities, within teams, within family systems where the negotiation of agreements is a common feature, one that is encouraged, one that is recognized as relevant to not only the individuals involved, but to one's relationship with one's opportunities. So it's important to declare what one desires in a space of understanding the challenges that you face, the difficulties, the obstacles that you've had to overcome. And throughout that, it requires this steadfastness, this willingness to recalibrate, readjust, readapt as you gain new skills and have the opportunity to engage with new environments, new opportunities. So this represents a whole healing process where you have been working consistently with communities, developing contracts. This can be a feature of your work that you have deeply internalized, understood, and are very good at. It feels as though you have emerged with a fuller contract with yourself, a pledge that you will stand up for self, you will pursue your desires and even your potentials, which takes you into the realm of your dreams. So this is something that is already you are activating in your present time by setting up something that is the result of moving towards the unknown, having the confidence, the strength, and the skills to know that you can navigate what you've learned into a new environment that is unfamiliar to you. This is the revelation of your moment. This is where victory begins to emerge for this, where you understand that you don't have to control the forces outside of you. Those forces you have no control over. You instead can control your energy within. And that primal energy that you are now pursuing is the truth, which has put you in this position of understanding that you crave growth, you crave expansion, you crave contributing to a new situation that we find ourselves in globally. There are many opportunities to fashion and tool strategies, wisdom, knowledge, moving forward in a vastly changed and very chaotic world scene. But the truth that is emerging for you is this pursuit of victory by being authentic, by being an expression of how you see yourself growing. Not now, but this is you projecting yourself into the future. What you know is going to get you and help the world to resolve some of the tensions that have been existing. In the future, the Ace of Cups is clarified by the Four of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So this is interesting because you're opening yourself up to what feels like this much more inquisitive, playful, truthful, guileless energy that helps you to recognize that building upon your dreams, your aspirations, your hopes, your wishes, a vision is much more of a foundation that is going to carry you through these times. It's going to carry you through the setting up of this new service or relationship with unfamiliar communities, audiences, clients, students. And this is indeed the foundation that you're moving moving into the future with. This sense that I grow through love, I create, I dream, I imagine. My heart is open. I am empathetic. I actively listen. These are not passive skills. Creativity is an unrecognized, uncelebrated skill that we all have. And so I understand that that ability to dream, to recognize my connection with all people is the foundation that I'm moving forward with. I'm going to finish this reading with a Language of Flowers oracle. And, oh, that disappeared. Ah, there it is. The Everlasting Daisy. The key word is fortitude. Be brave and dig deep. Thank you so much for this reading. Until next time, namaste.